Hi everyone, it's James here and welcome to the second of our Pro Tools Expert microphone reviews. Thanks for all the positive feedback from the last video, and someone did ask if we could look at some drum mics. So hey presto, I've been diving in the locker and come up with these babies. These are actually my own microphones. We haven't blagged these or borrowed these. They are Sontronics mics. Yes, Sontronics once again. And they sound fantastic. There are three mics in the range. There is the DM1T, which is obviously the tom mic. There is the DM1S, surprise, surprise, the snare mic. And the DM1B. I think it should be called the DM1K, but that's the kick mic. And this thing is absolutely incredible. You can see here I've got the snare mic set up on a stand. Now the snare and tom mics do come with a little clip that allows you to put the mics directly on the rims of the drums. I don't really like these. Sontronics themselves would admit these aren't the greatest pieces of kit they've ever shipped. They're fine, but I think you'll get much better response if you put the mics on a stand. That said, you'll notice my tom mics are actually on different clips. These are not the ones that ship with the mics. These are my own. I just find, yeah, okay, I'd like to use all stands, but stands cost money and clips are much cheaper and much easier to set up in a hurry on gigs. I actually use these ones live as well as in the studio. You can see here how I've got all the mics set up. We'll cover drum recording in a specific tutorial at some point. You can also see here how I've got my kick drum set up. Now, space is a premium in every studio I know, and you can see that my kit is quite close to the wall. That said, I have got a little bit of space just so I can get the kick mic in. It's pointing about an inch or two into the sound hole, into the hole that's cut inside the bass drum, and I get a really good response. The mics are beautifully made from spun brass. They've got a really nice weighty feel to them. To actually set them up is simplicity itself. You whack it on the drum, you decide if you're going to use the little built-in attenuator that's on all three mics. I don't bother because I just gain it down on my preamp. But you can see here the little slide switch to give you a minus 10 dB pad. I actually had to ask Trevor at Sontronics specifically what's the difference between the DM1T and the DM1S. He wouldn't really tell me too much in detail other than the mics have been tweaked to get better response from the particular instruments they're pointed at. It's worth noting the DM1B, the kick drum mic, ships in a really nice flight case and is also really good for sort of low-end brass instruments. I was using it for a session on trombone the other day and we got some great results from it. So even though, yes, they are tagged as drum mics, really good for sort of low-end brass, other percussion instruments, timps perhaps. I've never tried them on timpani, but I'm sure they'll sound great. As usual, I like to put lots of mics on my kit. So just to let you know the other mics I'm using. On the hi-hat on my left, I'm using an AKG 451 with an E capsule, sort of pencil condenser, an older one. You can see on the X-hat on my right, I'm using a Sontronics STC1 pencil condenser. Loads of options here. I've just rolled off the bass. 175 Hz, I think. My overheads are a pair of STC1s with no padding or bass roll-off, set up here in a close stereo configuration. And lurking in the background is our old friend, the SM57, pointing directly downwards towards the kick drum by the second tom. Now, I call this my compression mic or my effects mic. This is really just a little trick that I like to use. Again, we'll do a proper drum recording video at some point, but I can put compression on this or I can put distortion through it, really mash up the sound, and it just adds a little bit of grit to the tone sometimes. Bring it in, not use it, doesn't matter if I've recorded it. So all I'm going to do is give you a quick rundown of all the drums in order, so snare, the three toms and the kick drum. Then I'll just blast through and hope it doesn't sound too much like someone's pushed the drummer down the stairs. Have a listen and see what you think. There's no processing applied to any of the drums whatsoever, so what you're hearing is what comes through the mic, down the cable and into the preamp. And once again I'm using my Digi Pre's into my HD2 system. So you're just hearing the mics and the drums as they sound in the room. So there you go, that's the Sontronics drum mics, DM1B kick drum mic, DM1S snare mic, DM1T for toms. Keep your mic review requests coming. We've got a whole load more stuff that's been arriving day by day that we're going to review, and hope to see you on the next Pro Tools Expert video.